Welcome back to the E Show, episode number 18. Once again, my name is Neil Ravin. I serve as the Director of Communications for the EHL. Want to welcome in this week's guest. It's Eric Lynn, the head coach and GM of the Connecticut RoughRiders. Eric, what are your thoughts on your team so far this year?
Well, Neil, I'd like to thank you first by having me on the show. It's a privilege. First time in the EHL I've been on the show. So,
no problem.
What do I think? I think I like our team very much this year. We got a good squad. We just came off a nice win against Philly Revolution, which showed we're definitely moving in the right direction. We have a little short roster right now due to injuries, but an import transfer that's taken a month and a half with USA Hockey and the Russian Federation, but we're hoping to get that settled this week.
So, I'm glad that you brought up the win over the Revolution and obviously the injuries as well. And then on top of all that, you have 5 losses in overtime and a shootout. But through it all, you're still in first place. What do you think about all
that? It's definitely been an interesting start. The most, overtime losses. It's kind of hurt us. We actually won one of those. It went in the back of the net, and then we celebrated in the corner. And they went down 3-0 after 3 rebounds. They scored, but that was an interesting one. But yeah, in the official books, it's 0-5, and I think actually it's helped our team with character-wise being in tight positions. That's just being in the last 5 minutes. It's a mentality. When I was coaching at Yale University, 2 years we're number 1 in the country. We played a lot of tight games, and in the beginning of those seasons, we actually lost those games, and we built on it, and that helped us carry us in the playoffs, win a few championships there. And you just get mentally stronger. This game's it's a big. This game's very much mental nowadays. So it's just going to build mental strength. You can go 2 ways, right? You can dwell on it, or you learn from your mistakes and get better mentally. And then you just get a little more technical in those situations, So, now we're a run and gun team. We like to use the transition game well. I believe in that. It builds a skill level, also improves our skating. At the end of the day, we're here to get these kids in college, and this game's such a skater's game now. So, we're not going to tighten up, play 1-2-2 trap, but we just got to tighten up in the little areas and be a little less risky in those situations.
I'm glad that you brought up, the number one goal, of course, while we're here is to get these players off to college. And you're one of the guys that's part of, the core that's been here since the league was formed back in 2013. What do you think about how the league has changed over the years, and what do you think we've done to, get better as the years have gone on?
I think the biggest we've been through a lot of transition. The junior landscape's a tricky one. I talk to parents all the time. Even myself, I'm in it. I'm in the junior game, and it's sometimes very confusing with all these new leagues coming up, new teams. Organizations having multiple or 3 teams. It's very confusing. So I think over the last 7 years, I've seen a lot of change. Coming from the EJHL. And then obviously being one of the founding members of the EHL, I think our coaches in this league and organizations do an excellent job of, kind of knowing what we are and making our players, strive to get to that NCAA level. And which I like is you don't see, some of these non-pay-to-play leagues, you see so much player movement. Like last year, we didn't have one transaction, which was, and I think that as a player, I played prep school, I played junior hockey, like knowing that you're in an organization where you can develop and mature, mentally and skill wise is a big deal for players nowadays. I mean, like I said, again, you're talking about our team from a mental perspective and overtimes, it's the same thing for players. Like you have to feel comfortable to grow in your environment.
And you're not looking over your shoulder, clearly, if you're a member of the RoughRiders squad. So focusing in on your roster this season in particular, of course, you had a pair of players in the All-Star game in Connor Boyce and August Nyblom. Ryan Stewart would have been there as well. We saw what he just did on Monday against the Revolution. those are three guys whose names have kind of stood out amongst your roster from the beginning. Are there names that may not, appear in the box score as much, but those guys have a huge impact on your team?
Yeah, it's I'm actually Connor's right here in the room right now. We're just talking, but about our about how deep our squad is this year, and like I said, we're a little hindered by injuries right now, but we're really well balanced. All four lines, all 8D here can go. So we're very fortunate. Players that you probably haven't heard as much. Will Christensen from Avon Old Farms. He's probably one of the best defensive forwards in the game. He's unbelievable at faceoffs. He's a guy that he's still our second point leader, but you probably don't hear as much just because August is he's back for his third year. He's a 6'6". I think he'll be a high end Division III, low Division I player. And then obviously our leading scorer, Brett Mosier, he's going to Conn College. He's been really playing in the back of the net. But throughout our lineup, we have a lot of character. We have Brandon Wilkie. He's a 98, one of our only 98s for Colorado. He's a very feisty player and finding his stride also.
So switching off of that now, we'll wrap things up with, the weekend coming up for your team. You're coming off of, a good weekend this past weekend, 2 wins against Team Maryland and a big win over the Revolution. You play 2 Philly teams again this weekend. You start off with a little playoff rematch. I know you're in the other conference now, but you start off with a playoff rematch on Sunday against the Little Flyers, and then you face the same Revolution on Monday. What are your thoughts towards these two matchups?
Obviously, Philly teams, they're talented. They're well-coached teams. The Revolution have that top line coming back for their second year. They're talented. They're well-coached. So, in the Little Flyers, it seems like even though it's our 7th year, a lot of these organizations, their style don't play. Their style doesn't change. But we're looking for 2 hard-fought games here. We know we got to be mentally ready and ready to compete. It's going to be interesting. We're a little thin this weekend coming up due to injuries and sickness. So I think it's going to be a real test for the guys that are playing, and we look and also excellent opportunity for players for colleges. So there's a lot to look forward this weekend, and we're looking hopefully for 2 hard-fought games.
So through it all, folks, they have a lot of injuries right now. They also have suffered through 5 tough losses as well, but they're still in first place. A team to watch this weekend as they take on the Little Flyers on Sunday and the Revolution on Monday. You can catch those games and all the showcase games on Hockey TV, and we'll see you in Haverhill, Eric.
All right, Neil. Thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.